I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Correction that needs to be made to the minutes of February 11th. And that is a correction of voucher numbers. For January 28th, the A fund voucher numbers should be number 1548 through 1592. And on February 11th, the TNA fund should be number 54. All other abstract amounts were correct. With that, I will entertain a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll make the motion to approve the minutes.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Treasurer's report.
Making a motion that we authorize the payment of the bills from A fund vouchers number 1620 through 1658 in the amount of $68,018.49. From the F and G fund vouchers 513 through 524 in the amount of $5,427.35. And the TNA fund voucher number 55 in the amount of $14,145.79.
I have a second.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Privilege of the floor. She'll wait till the end. Okay. Old business. Discuss the fire truck, which everybody, I hope, has had a chance to review. And any questions on that?
I think the better truck.
Okay. Oh, we had you there for a second, Jay.
I'm in my wife's new office that we put in the basement, so I'm still trying to work this out.
Looks like a she shed. Yeah, I like it.
Well, it's supposed to be my man cave, but yeah, didn't work out that way. I lost.
Smart.
Did anybody have any questions for Jay about the truck?
No, I like the truck controls. Yeah, it
Was
should
there-
last a long time.
Any update on shared funding?
So
I have-
we went, yeah, go ahead. Sorry, Mr. Mayor.
No, go ahead, Jay.
Well, so we went and discussed that they were in favor of giving us funding. I still haven't gotten a number from it, but everybody on the board was receptive to they needed to give something. So I don't know if you heard anything and follow up, Mr. Mayor, but at the meeting they were excited to help out, and they also like the fact that if Albany Street went down for some reason, it was a lighter weight truck that could get it across the street to Pine Street or Wall, whichever one's open now. So they liked all that stuff, but they wanted to give some funding, but we haven't gotten a sure number that I've heard.
I have not. I'll see Mike tomorrow. I'll talk with him. And then I'll email when that number is, and then we can probably move forward at the March 11th meeting. Sound good, Jay?
Absolutely. I appreciate the support.
So that's on me to talk with Mike Park. Looking at a decision at 11 March. Okay. Next up is we have, if you look at your packet, that looks like this. I gave this to everybody. Okay. That has some things that we need to look at, and it is more in depth than what we're going to get into now. So this is homework for the next meeting. Don't hide, Jay. Yeah. So you'll see on the front that has the Penflex has their fee. And that is an estimate based off of the per participant fee of the number of departments of firefighters we have. And then they also have an additional for $395, preparation of financial statement disclosures. Now, that alone isn't qualified for what the state wants, but it makes it a heck of a lot easier. And until we get this down, I would say that the extra $395 is a good deal. But I want everybody to take and peruse on your own. All right. As you look back, there'll be an explanation for the auditors of the service award program. And there are some other things that provide information. Now, there were, and also in the back, you'll see the Royal Bank of Canada. We have to have an investment broker. Essentially, that's what it is, right, Jay?
Yep. I
Now,
spoke locally to a couple and they just didn't want to touch it because they're not really too familiar with it.
we tried local. Edward Jones is not involved with this. They're not comfortable with it. Neither is the First National Bank of Dryden. There is some other entities, Arrow Bank, but the Royal Bank of Canada does this. And they are one of the oldest banks that do this, LoSAP specifically. And their information is in here. So I would ask the trustees to review the information. And then we will make a decision on the 11th, March 11th.
Can I ask a question?
Absolutely.
Because I don't know the acronym. What does LoSAP mean?
Length of service award program for volunteer
And is
firefighters.
that the numbers that are on this chart that you also put in here?
Yes,
Okay.
so part of the program, and you'll see that also includes at the very back of this packet is our numbers that did this come from Data Demon? Jay?
Yes. Yep. That software that we enacted it 2 years ago, it tracks it beautifully for us.
Yeah.
So it's
So
just,
you'll see all the members of the fire department, and there are certain requirements that they have to hit. They can get X amount of points for attending meetings, points for training, points for attending calls. And that's what this lays out here.
Let me ask you something. Why are some in red and some are in black?
Jay?
well, I'm assuming that the ones in red are going to be the ones that did not get the 50 points that they're required. The reason I say that is because I'm colorblind, so I really can't tell if it's red or black. So, but I'm assuming if they don't have a 50 or higher at the end tally, then they didn't satisfy the terms for the buyback of that year.
All right, thank you.
So I know good reading for everybody. This is something that we've passed by referendum. Now we have to, and we budgeted for it. Now we are getting towards the implementation phase.
And we continue to go down to RBC and the other banks and Portland. And see if they do this stuff. They're pretty big.
Which other ways?
Well, Key and
Oh, so
HBC or whatever it is.
we did talk with Penflex, and Penflex essentially said that there's 3 banks. RBC is one, Arrow, and there was a third one, but they merged with
Never heard of.
Arrow. One's out of Rochester, the other one's out of Buffalo.
Oh, okay. That's in the state.
Yeah,
That way you got state auditors, state AGs and stuff. It's hard to say, hey, Canada,
Well,
give us our money.
no, I mean,
We
RBC,
go invade or something, you know.
RBC has has an office in the States, and they have to follow everything, which is why I gave you guys the packet, so you can review the packet.
All right, yeah, I just,
No,
I'm not against them. I just rather do American if I could.
We Jay looked at a bunch of these,
I know he did.
and we talked with Penflex, who deals with many of these organizations. RBC seems to be the best one. However, that's not to say, that's why we have the packet, so we can review.
Yeah, because what the bank is doing is just gonna put it into like a pension account and manage the funds for them until they turn 65 or whenever they wanna draw their money out. So basically, it's just a pension place, and banks traditionally don't give you a hell of a lot of return, but I guess that's what you gotta do. Oh, well.
Does anybody have any other questions for Jay on the LoSAP? And if you have any other questions, email and we'll find the answers for you.
Now, how much does the village put in, or is this all state funded? I mean, some of
No.
this is.
No,
This is, we did this as a retention
Okay.
and an incentive program. So this is entirely village funded
Got it.
based off of the contracts that we have with the other communities.
Okay, state does have a program for volunteer fire department, right, or something, not a. They offer something in pension, or, I mean,
The tax incentive.
There's a tax
incentive.
exemption, yeah.
$200 every year for tax exemption. Or it's not an exemption, it's $200 stipend each year at your tax time. This was just something that was, like the mayor said, retention, and we've seen a huge uptick in response. Members respond, it's all around done its job already, and we haven't even implemented as far as like payment and stuff like that, so it's been huge. And it just gives back to the people that want to commit to, it's a pretty big commitment if you aren't aware of it, to be a
Yes, I'm
volunteer
looking
firefighter.
through this really quickly. It seems that everybody who hit the number target also got points, got the 25 points for responding to fire and rescue calls. So it absolutely is corresponding, as I read it quickly, that it's the people who are out there, who are serving, who are responding to the calls in the village and in the surrounding areas that are seeing the benefit from this. So I'm glad to see that connection. I know we wondered exactly how it would work out, what would the firefighters be doing to get their points up? So I'm glad to see that.
Well, if you guys ever have any questions, I could meet with anybody and just go through it, because I know that you guys generally are the first line that the public comes to for things. So if you have any questions that you want to have, everybody has questions you need answered, I'd be more than happy to sit with anybody ever. I mean, I live right up the road, so I'm kind of neighbors with the deputy mayor. So
well, one of the reasons why this is so important is that if we don't keep our firefighters, it's gonna ultimately morph into a paid fire, and that for 3,500 people in our village would be, wow. You think our firefighters are, cost going up, no, it'd be a lot worse. And so this is a really good thing to do, that retain the firefighters
Especially
and give them something so they,
especially when numbers are down throughout the state.
oh yeah, this is a smart move.
we have had an uptick in younger members and retention and everything. We're up to like 66 members, and out of those 66, like 50 are active. So it's with this and everything else, we've done a really good job as far as reviving it. A lot of places are drowning around us, I guess, as far as membership and trying to do all that stuff with the requirements, and we've just been at an uphill swing so far. So I just wanted to keep riding the wave and give them something else to keep them coming around and keep our village safe.
Kicker, Ed, is that we're paying for last year's service, and so this year it's a little thick, but otherwise, year by year, it's not a huge amount that we're putting away, so it's a really good thing.
I'm not.
No, I just
I'm
want to
not
inform you.
opposed. I'm
I know
just-
you're not against it,
Questions.
but you need
Yeah.
information. I mean, you're the new guy.
Yeah, that's
We're
the problem.
giving you a fire hose here,
Yeah.
No pun intended.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Does anybody have any other questions for Jay on LoSAP? All right, we will readdress that on the 11th, to make a decision. All right, new business. Dan and I discussed the Pro Nexus, and we are looking of the 2024-2025 closeout budget. Best case, we'll have it on the 11th. Worst case, we'll have it on the 25th. Now, if it's on the 11th, great, but if it's on the 25th, being about a month out from closeout is not, that is more the norm. So, be
The
prepared.
state doesn't get theirs, so what, 3 or 4 months?
We're not even gonna talk about the state.
Yeah, I know, sorry. We're doing good.
Yeah, so that, for expectation management, just so you guys know, best case the 11th, worst case the 25th. All right, next I want to discuss is the salt shortage. I want to say thank you to specifically to Kyler, who helped us out with some salt, but overall to all the municipalities within the county and the town supervisors and the highway superintendents that all got together. This salt issue is a statewide issue, and our county highway superintendents and municipal highways really came together. I will say, just for our village residents, be careful on the roads with the ice, as everything is melting and freezing. And we are not able to be as gratuitous with our salting as we have in the past. So I just ask everybody to please slow down, watch the intersections, and be a little bit more courteous.
Parking lots as well.
Yes, yep. Does anybody have anything they want to add about the salt?
Is there an estimate for how much is left? I mean, do we know
We've already gone through everything.
everything? So there's no salt left.
Well, we're cross leveling amongst highway departments. Doing some mixing with sand. Now, the problem with sand is sand will give you some initial grit. But after the thaw and the refreeze, then it turns to mess, so. Next up, we have the recreation donation for the Kathy stage.
That is nice.
So Kathy Stage is responsible for the softball league that our village participates in, and recently when a family member passed away, of someone from the Kathy Stage family passed away, people wanted to make a donation in honor of the softball league to continue to support it. We're so happy to receive this. Last year, there was a celebration of the Kathy Stage family at our softball opening day when we had an event in the spring. We want to do something similar to that this year. I was speaking to Andrew, the recreation director, about this generous donation, and he, was coming up with ideas about what it could go towards specifically so that the family can really be recognized, whether it's buying helmets or bats or something else that's going to be really beneficial to all of the girls who play for Homer throughout the different ages. So we appreciate this, and I'm going to make a motion now to accept this donation which is directed to the Kathy Stage softball program.
I will gladly second.
All in favor?
Aye. Excellent.
Thank you to the family for that, both of them. Has everybody had a chance to look at the board meeting schedule? I will say that I do have a conflict on March 25th. So that be there, I'll have to handle that one. If I can't zoom in. Now, the July 15th and July 29th are not exactly the 2nd and 4th. The reason I changed those was because of the 4th of July and the 4-day, usually there's a 4-day holiday, the 4th through the 7th, which would then have us meeting on the 8th. Doesn't give our staff very much time. We can put it to the 8th, or we can keep it 15th or 29th. Is that?
I think no problem with that.
I don't think that makes sense.
Okay. Are there any other issues with dates?
You can always change them later if we need to.
And we'll definitely be adding some for budgeting, but so if there's no other concerns, I will accept a motion to accept the board meeting schedule for 2025, 2026.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We have the CDBG housing grant application for Candice Lotta. Just need to approve it.
I'll make a motion, we approve the review or the request for BBG funding for Candace Ladder.
I'll second. It looks like she's in need of a lot of stuff.
Yeah, okay.
Discussion? All in favor? Aye. Next up, we have the fire department firefighter application.
Look, a good guy.
No red flags.
I'll make a motion, we accept the firefighter application as stated here.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right,
So much pain.
now for the sad part.
You gonna open that?
Yeah. Open it. I'm gonna read it.
Oh.
So this is from Kevin, do you want to read it?
No, because I'm a better writer than a reader.
Okay, so on behalf of Kavanaugh, dear Homer Board of Trustees and Mayor, please accept this letter as my formal resignation from my position as village trustee for the village of Homer, New York. My last day of service will be February 28th, 2025, pursuant to Public Officers Law, Section 31. As you all may know, I will be relocating to a new place, and that means I will need to resign from my position as trustee. I would like to express my gratitude for the opportunity to serve the village of Homer and all that I have experienced during my time here. I'd like to thank the residents of the village for giving me the opportunity to serve them. I want to ensure a smooth transition during my departure and am willing to assist in any way I can. Thank you all for the support and guidance you have given me. As you all know, I truly love the village of Homer. I wish the village tremendous success and prosperity in the future. Sincerely, Kevin Slack. It is with deep regret that I accepted from our longest serving trustee,
Or trustee.
who has been a mentor to myself personally, for which I am grateful. For the board, he has been a foundation of stability and support. And most of all, which is sometimes lacking in our current world, common sense. Kevin, you will be missed, but you will not be forgotten. And we know you're not going to be far from us. Anybody else?
Oh, I appreciate all you've done. You've been the voice of the people, and that's been so encouraging and warm, because people would come into your restaurant and they would talk to you, and then we would get that feedback here on the board, which we didn't have that opportunity. So you were a great conduit, and I think a personal friend, and I appreciate it.
Thank you.
In your work here always reminded me that the village was much bigger than just the historic district, that we had people here who were experiencing so many different things, and you really brought attention to their needs. You were so responsible in the way you approached everything, from your work with the fire department, the beautification committee. Really, I think there's not a department here you didn't touch and make better through your work. And you're resigning for the best reasons, because you and your family have found a wonderful home that's going to suit your needs so well. But we're going to miss you as a neighbor here in this village, and also as a department. So thank you for all you've done.
I'm the newest member. I don't know you as well as the others, but I've lived in a village that's benefited from your wise stewardship, so I appreciate it.
After this, we're gonna take a photo, so. The attorney has already left. Any other comments by board members?
I have a brief comment,
Hold on.
Oh, oh, sorry.
Ed?
I'm sorry. Take it.
Yeah.
I'm learning what are, appropriate comments, so I don't know if I should make just general question comments here or save it for another time.
No, bring it up, anything. This is your time.
Okay. Do we have, I've heard some inkling about progress on DRI. Is that going to be disseminated to the rest of the trustees and then out to the village? Is there a way that we're thinking about communicating DRI progress in a similar way that Cortland created a website or at least a link that people could see that things were moving along?
So I have, with the changeover from Hal to myself, I got an email from Alyssa at the state. So I will be setting up a meeting with her either this Thursday or Friday. Did talk with, you just drew a blank on his name, but discussed the same thing about having something on our website. I think that's something we need to discuss because I think ultimately it's gonna be bigger than what we can manage, so we may need to coordinate with an outside agency to help disseminate that information on this, so more to follow on that.
We're gonna need a lot of help when we start getting into the monies and how we're gonna spend it for the village. The state hasn't done anything except when they said, hey, you're gonna do festival grounds, and then they went silent, so we've been waiting on them. And, so, yeah, that's a good point, I like that.
Kevin?
At the risk of being too emotional, I have nothing else to say.
Okay.
So there was an article in the Portland Standard last week about a lawsuit that the county settled for a child who was injured at a county park. And after reading that, Andrew, the recreation director, and I were talking about some of the playground equipment that we have around the village. The village has really benefited from new playgrounds that have gone up on some of our local schools. But there is equipment at Turkey Park, which is not in good condition and has been neglected for a long time. And this article is a stark reminder about what can happen. And so, as Andrew and I were talking, we know that the budget has already been discussed and voted on for this coming fiscal year. There is not money in it to construct a brand new playground in that location. But I think it's a conversation to have with village residents and members of the public and here amongst ourselves about whether that's a plan we want to put in place for the future and start to identify different funding sources and how much money we could set aside in coming years if we want to rebuild a playground at that location. Tearing down equipment that's dangerous is a no-brainer. That's something that doesn't get, that can't be put off in the future if it's a current safety hazard. And as it's examined, we're going to make that determination. But whether to build a new playground at that location or perhaps something off of 281, I think is a question we should start to think about together.
We have put in requests, I think, Dan, and stuff through the CFA, that consolidated funding agreement, assessment,
Application.
application. So it's a tough thing to fill out, believe me. But we haven't been successful on that, but we keep trying. So, yeah, we have been trying to do that, and that was strictly for Turkey Park. But you know what? Some of the money's on our DRI, it's supposed to help the village to do redevelopment. So, maybe some of that could be redirected. River Trail, park stuff, blah, blah, blah. That's all possible. I wouldn't give up that.
That's it.
All right, some updates. So we have started interviewing for account clerks. That'll go on through this week. We have, Chief Pittman is looking at, interviews for the new officer slot. We are hoping to get them in, for the next academy, but that depends upon how the interviews go. We're looking at a water and sewer replacement. We've got to get that with civil service, but Keith, I know you've been patient on that. And I know that we have, a water class coming up, so we definitely want to make sure that they get in time for that. And we are looking at we are still looking for a treasurer bookkeeper. Okay. That is all I have. Chief, did you have anything?
No, the room upstairs is going well. I looked at it today and very impressed with the guys work from the DPW.
They're very qualified. Are any of the DPW guys possibly, not talking to chief, to be, maybe take that water class, the double, backup kind of thing? I don't know if that's something, so I think people have been cross-trained.
Oh, yeah, they've been cross-trained before, but we're still
Is there-
down a person.
Yeah, I know that. I just wonder if there's somebody in the DPW that hasn't been cross-trained.
That hasn't been
That
cross-trained.
hasn't, and that may want to if this class is available. It's through HTO, right? Now,
Right.
Yeah, that's close by, so it's not like they gotta leave town or anything. Well, the class, oh, I'm just saying.
We can offer it, but I mean, still need to get another person.
Oh, agreed, agreed. I'm not,
You know, that was one of the things, we had one of.
Ed, we got, can I talk a minute? We've
ahead,
got
Keith.
we've got 3 people, that are at the DPW that are certified up to the water department. And
Good.
that's not really the problem because we can't really take from the street department. We need to hire somebody else and get them going.
no, I knew that. I'm just saying in an emergency.
Yeah, we've got the emergency part taken care of.
Oh, yeah,
So.
that's what we do. We have them. We can always try to get more, but,
It's expensive to, I know we always try to have like 6 people, but it's expensive to run them through courses and, everything. So, I mean, we try to keep it to a limit. But,
I do like healthy, safe drinking water, so.
welcome back, Keith.
Yeah, thanks. I didn't want to come back. How's that sound?
Yeah, we won't take it personal.
Oh, the other thing I wanted to say, I don't know if anybody's been up to Turkey Park every day I take a trip around the village to see where the water's blowing out of the ground, but I was up to Turkey Park and there was 2 sets of swans up there today. If anybody wants to swing up there tomorrow and see them, I would think they'd still be there, maybe not. I've never seen swans up there, so just telling you. I thought it was pretty cool.
It's nice. Questions from the media? Kevin?
I just had one question for Kevin. How many years did you serve on the board?
I'm laughing, Kevin, because we were just discussing that.
Somewhere between 12 and 13.
12, 13. So how many terms is that?
Well, when I first started, there were 2-year terms. So there was one,
It's 2011, so that was,
2-year and 2 4-year, so that would be 12. But don't quote me, 'cause I'm not sure.
All right, that's it for me. Thank you.
Thank you.
Lily?
I have a few. So how much is this fire truck going to cost and how is it being paid?
So the fire truck is going to be, I think about, Jay, is it 440 or 500?
About 500,000. There were various quotes for it, but the one that fits our needs, especially to right size the department, it's about that.
And we're gonna be paying for it through contributions from some of our contracted towns and our fire department reserves and possibly some other funding.
And then also, what is the process of filling a vacancy on the Board of Trustees?
So what will happen is Kevin announces resignation, and I am putting out now that we are looking for people that are interested in filling Kevin's term, and that they need to contact either myself or Dan Egner. And we will set up times for interviews. And then I am looking to possibly have this position filled by the next meeting, subject to board approval. I will have to I make the appointment, and then the board provides advice and consent. So, and then also on top of that, because Kevin would have been up for, so the person that comes into the term will have to run in November to finish the rest of Kevin's term, which would be for 2 years. And then after that, they could run for a 4-year term. We just went through this with.
There's gonna be a whole lot of people running.
Yeah, so
Me and
in November, this November, we are gonna have 4 people running for spots. It'll be myself running to complete a 2-year term for Hal. It'll be somebody running to complete a 2-year term for Kevin. And then there'll be 2 4-year slots. Ed Finkbeiner running for a 4-year, and Ed Porter, who took my spot, running for a 4-year. You got all that?
Yes,
Gotcha.
I did.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Good, because it took me a while to get that straight.
Yeah, impressive. Okay, thank you.
All right. Okay, if there are no other questions, I will,
Exec, or
no,
no? No exec?
no,
I'll make a motion that we adjourn.
I'll second.
discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.